Okay viewers, today we're going to talk about our Scheiber systems. So let me just move through the messy saloon, past the beautiful Carolyn, up to our display with all the dust and fingerprints on our nav station. Look at that, on our B&G display. But here we are. Here's what's called the Scheiber Navicolor display. So this controls our Scheiber DC electrical system on the boat. So let's just wake it up. At the moment it's showing us a tanks display. And I'll get out of that, get back to the normal screen. There's the home screen. And it shows us that at the moment our Scheiber system is programmed to give us battery information, tanks information, control of a whole bunch of electrical devices on board the boat. Under that symbol, this one shows us lights controls, and that shows us bilge pump controls. So let's just do a bit of a tour through those. We'll just quickly show you what you can see. There's the voltage of the bow thruster batteries, and press this button, and that's the house battery. Sorry, the engine start battery. Okay, let's get out of there and let's go into the tanks. And you can see we have port water tank, starboard water tank, port fuel tank, starboard fuel tank, our third fuel tank, and the waste tank. So let's just show what you can do with this. There's our port tank, it's 46%. And if we wanted to pump from port to starboard, we can do that. I don't think I've got the stopcocks open, so I won't do that. So I've just made a quick edit and I've opened up the stopcocks between the water tanks. So here we go. Let's go into starboard. And this is what you press to do some pumping. And we want to pump from starboard to port. So here we go. And we might have to wait a bit before we see any change in the percentages. But they will eventually change. Let's see. There we are. The water on the starboard side is going down, and eventually on port it'll start to go up. Eventually, there we go. So you can do things like that. Get back out of there, get back out of there. Now what else can we do? Over this one here is really good fun. You can turn on the water pressure pumping pump. Let's see what happens if we put the shower pump on. It might pump out some water. Yep, there it goes. So that's pumping water out of the pipe under the shower. Chain rinse pump if you need that. That's to turn on the Webasto. We've got the fridge on, but not the freezer. This will turn on all the instruments, the VHF radio. Watch this, folks. I can turn on all of the fans from here. The extractor fans. There's one. There's the second one. There's a third one. And if you want, turn them all off. That's for the Webasto heating fans. Fuel polisher. These are 12-volt sockets out in the cockpit. And here's the two autopilot controls. So lots can be done in there. Lights here if we want. When we're out sailing, oops, sorry about that. We can very quickly turn on all of the lights outside. So boom, 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 and the boat is just lit up beautifully for making a sail change at night, or letting a big boat know that we're nearby. Just light ourselves up beautifully. Compass lights, motoring light, anchoring light, sailing light, all controllable from here. And bilge pumps. We have our sail locker bilge pump, the front cabin bilge pump, the main bilge pump, and the aft compartment bilge pump, all sitting on auto, so they're ready to go if they detect water. And this here is a pump underneath the chain locker. So that's how that side of the system works. There's another page here which allows you to actually do all of the settings for the system. For example, in here you can adjust the screen brightness in various ways. In here you get into programming the system. So this is where it really gets complicated and quite good fun. If you like a bit of programming, you can get in here and program all of the system elements that are scattered around the boat. Now here you can see a whole bunch of block 9s. They're called block 9 because these are the devices that distribute power, and we will go and look at one of those, and I think it's block 9 number 4. But let's just see what should be controlled by block 9, number 4. In a moment you'll see what that is. And yes, I think this is the one that we're going to go and look at. But we'll just back out of there. We'll go and have a look at block 9. I think it's number 4. So here we go. Getting away from the nav station, past Carolyn again, down to the back cabin, which we have in a state of disarray at the moment because we're airing the boat out. Spin around here and voila! I'll turn my head torch on so that we've got a bit more light. Here is a block 9. It's block 9 number 4. Normally it has this cover on it which tells us which button is for which. As you can see, the first one up here, the first button up here is for the freshwater pump. So you heard me turn the freshwater pump on from the Scheiber screen, but now I might turn this light off. Yeah, that's better. Watch this. Oh. You can turn the water pressure pump on from here. And if and you do that in case there's some problem with the screen or you just want to test it from here. And if there's ever a problem with the way these controls on the side work, you can just pull out a fuse and insert that as a jumper in the respective fuse holder, which is up here, and it'll now be just hardwired and it'll work. So the user has complete control of how the system operates, and it's pretty handy. You can see that some of these are lit up, and that's because power is being supplied to them all the time, and that's because that's the fridge. The fridge is on, and if you look here, this light corresponds with the gas cutoff, so that's always on. None of these are bilge pumps, but if they were, they would be on as well. So that's pretty handy to know. You'll see up above we have some other elements of the Scheiber system, and these are called bloc éclairage, and these are light control switches. You can also control things like fans. These are for really low current devices, and they're very programmable. Fascinating system. Very programmable and easy enough to use once you decide to dive in and get to grips with it. I'll admit I was a bit skeptical at first about this system, and the folk at Garcia know that I asked lots of questions about it. But as it turns out, I'm quite positive about this now. I think it provides us with a fantastic control and is highly programmable. You can really use it for all sorts of things. It can do much more than you can see on screen at the moment. Okay, so there we go. That was a bit of a demonstration of the Scheiber system. If anyone has any questions, they'd like to hear the sound of the water pressure pump again. Not that you ever do. One of these days I'm going to have to find a way to quieten that thing down, but the fans are much quieter. I do quite enjoy being able to do this sort of thing. You can group things together. If I wanted to, I could make all 3 fans come on at the same time with the press of one button, and you can do the same with lights. You can turn all the lights off in the boat with just one press of a button. So this is what CAN bus and LIN bus can do for you on a boat these days. It's a pretty handy system, and we've come to like it quite a bit. Okay, bye for now.